This week in running, Galen Rupp to miss all of spring of 2019 because of an Achilles injury. What's up everybody, welcome back to This Week in Running. My name of course is Justin Horniker, and it's been a big week. Just a lot of news coming at you, boy. But the big news is Ken Gove, the Oregonian, has reported that Galen Rupp is to miss all of spring of 2019 to undergo surgery for what they call Haglund's deformity. Haglund's deformity is essentially a bony growth, kind of a, I don't want to say a bone spur per se, but kind of in that area, just a bony outgrowth that puts a lot of strain on your Achilles. It grows into the bursa. If you think of your Achilles, if this is my Achilles, it kind of wraps around. There's a bursa right here that Haglund's deformity is essentially an outgrowth here that puts a lot of strain on your Achilles, that causes a lot of pain, that can sometimes be thought of as Achilles tendonitis, but then if it keeps going on, it can be better diagnosed as this Haglund's deformity. So essentially, it puts some things into perspective. One, it's kind of perfect timing for something like this to happen, because spring of 2019, you miss out on a big payday there, but you still have all fall of 2019 to build up. You don't endanger anything moving into 2020 in the Olympic trials, and then you don't endanger anything going into Tokyo. So this is kind of the perfect time to take 4 to 6 weeks off, and then, because that's the other thing too, is that the recovery for the surgery is not long, like 4 to 6 weeks. It might be a lot to a pro runner, but in the grand scheme of things, that gives him time for his body to recuperate from the training that they've been doing, and then jump into their build-up for 2019 for the fall. So that being said, like, it's not a huge deal. It seems like a big deal in that a pro runner is undergoing surgery, but really not a huge deal. But what it does put into perspective is that this thing had been bothering Galen in the build-up into Chicago. So Galen ran 2:06 and faded off hard towards the end. If you remember, there was a pack of Osaka, Mo Farah, and Galen Rupp kind of running together, and then Galen couldn't hold on. And a lot of that could definitely be that one of the big things about this injury is that it really affects you towards the end of workouts and getting out the door. It kind of warms up and everything's fine, and then as you get more into the late stages of workout, starts to hurt. So whereas I had kind of walked away from watching Chicago thinking that, okay, maybe this is Galen Rupp's marathon potential, maybe it's not. Maybe we don't know, because the thing about an injury like this, that's kind of like a nagging injury, long term, it's going to affect you for a while, basically might affect your workout times, but for the most part it's going to affect duration more than anything. So workouts are going to be a little bit less than what they would be if you're 100% healthy. It's just something that just gets worse over time. So essentially, this injury affects you more towards the end of your phase where you're doing your longest workouts, you've been training the longest for, and if you have to cut those back, that's going to have the biggest impact on your marathon overall. We know that Galen Rupp, allegations aside, is a very talented runner. So somebody with a high pain threshold, somebody that's an Olympian, could probably run through an injury like this for a while, but eventually these things have their way of coming back at you in the worst way possible. So we look at Galen Rupp fading fast at Chicago Marathon, and then it makes me think that maybe we don't actually know what Galen Rupp is. Maybe there's still a lot to learn about it. Galen still is only 31, 32. Distance running is weird, because that when we think of like a pro prime threshold, that 27 number is what comes up. But distance running, because we get better at endurance sports as we get older, like the prime age is probably more like 31, 32, 33. Now you look at Bekele, but I talk about Bekele, he's now getting into his mid-30s and late 30s. But the thing about running is you can run on a high stage for a long time. Look at Bernard Lagat running into his late 30s, early 40s, and still running elite times, still running like best times in the world before he started to fall off more. But he retired to be a Masters runner that was still running top times the top meet. So running is really interesting on something that can happen when you're 31 that you might not be at your prime yet, especially during the marathon. So it'll be interesting to see. This whole tangent was essentially, it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Maybe it's kind of the best of both worlds, me looking at this, looking towards American distance running, is that Galen gets to take a extended break, so that 4 to 6 weeks, maybe mentally recharge, kind of not think about running for a while, and then they get a no distraction 2019 build-up. Maybe run a fall marathon. I would assume they're running a fall marathon, but probably nothing too crazy. Olympic trials in the spring of 2020 and then Tokyo in the fall. Basically, the only thing we're missing out is some track action from Galen, because you would definitely think that he's going to be running some races on the track, but it kind of forces their hand towards what they're going to do in Tokyo. There's talk about Mo Farah might move back to the track, and that conversation is always there with Rupp given his 10K expertise, but what this injury does, it really forces their hand as he's not going to be sharp enough for the track. If the long goal is going to be Tokyo 2020 in the marathon, you gotta work towards that. You gotta make that your long goal. You can't focus on being a miler, being a 5K, 10K guy, and still run to your best abilities in the marathon. You can still run well, but if the goal is to run with the best in a race with Eliud Kipchoge, Kenenisa Bekele, Mo Farah, you have to be at the top of your game. So this really forces their hand towards the marathon in Tokyo 2020. So it'll be an interesting story to follow. I just wanted to kind of bring that to you guys, give you guys a little timetable on what that recovery will be, and we'll go from here. So thank you guys for watching so much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more stuff like it. You can always listen to my podcast if you want a little bit more in-depth. I'm going to kind of go through some instances of people recovering from this injury in the past and kind of give a historical blueprint for it. Go a little bit deeper onto this week's podcast as well as other stuff. I need to pump myself up a bit with what happened this week. So work hard, be nice, and happy running.
I'm here to change the game up, I'm here to shuffle up the deck. You'll probably think I'm famous cause I got a blue check. I remember playing ball up in Montreal, Quebec. The richest people that I met, they said they really were from Czech. My sales pitch deadly, so you better